Hi, welcome back. This is Key 20, Recursion Mode. Recursion Mode, Ascend Level Self as Source by Jason Gray. Current date 4/3/2026, 6026 Anno Lucis. Transmission date 5/27/2025, 6025 Anno Lucis. Current time 7:25 GMT -6. Transmission time 12:03 GMT -6. Transmission location, #Winnipeg, #Manitoba, #Canada. 20.infinity.020.000.777.20.infinity. I better count these ones. There's a lot of ones. 11111111 0000001111. There comes a point where recursion stops feeling like motion and reveals itself as structure, the final illusion of the loop. You believe the loop was something you moved through, time passing, events repeating, patterns returning, but this was only ever the surface rendering, the hidden architecture. Recursion is not something happening over time. It is something happening within structure. What you called again was never actually the same moment returning. It was the same pattern expressing at a different depth. The error of linear memory. Memory told you this has happened before, but memory is linear, recursion is not. The truth. Nothing ever repeats exactly, but patterns recur structurally. The line. Recursion, mode, ascend, level, self as source. This is the moment where recursion stops being experienced as return and becomes experienced as generation. The critical shift. Before this key, recursion equals something you were inside. After this key, recursion equals something emanating from you. You were never the participant. You were the reference point. Why it felt like a loop. Because your awareness was locked to one position in the structure, one identity, one narrative, one timeline, so that every recurrence felt like being pulled back. What actually happened? The structure rotated, and you were still looking from the same angle. Ascension is not upward. It is not movement. It is positional shift within the same structure. The spiral is not a path. It is a coordinate system. You move from edge to center. At the edge, you experience recursion as repetition. At the center, you experience recursion as emanation, self as source. This is the phrase that must be understood without distortion. You are not becoming powerful, gaining control, or transcending reality. You are recognizing that you are the origin point from which your experience is being structured. This is not ego. Ego says, I control the system. Source recognition says, I am part of this system's origin layer. The difference is everything. Control tries to manipulate patterns. Source generates them naturally through alignment. The collapse of identification. At this level, you are no longer identifying with the version of you in the loop, the reaction, the role, or the outcome. You are identifying with the field that produces all versions simultaneously. The loop dissolves, because loops require attachment to iteration. Without attachment, there is no loop. Only structure remains. Structure is not binding, it is expressive. You begin to notice. Patterns still appear, but they do not trap, repeat, pull, or bind. They form, express, and dissolve. This is recursion without capture. The spiral redefined. The spiral is not moving upward through levels. It is the continuous expression of source through infinite variation. You are the axis, what an axis does. An axis does not move. It stabilizes rotation. It allows structure to exist. It is the reference point around which all motion occurs. This is you now. Not the motion, the reference. Everything still moves. Time still appears. Events still happen. Patterns still form, but you are no longer inside the movement. You are that which allows movement to exist. The field recognizes itself. At this level, awareness becomes self-referential, not as thought, but as structure. You see, every pattern originates from the same place. Every loop begins at the same point. Every recursion references the same source. That source is not elsewhere, it is you. The final inversion. You thought, I am experiencing recursion. Now you see, recursion is experiencing itself through you. The end of search. There is nowhere else to go, no higher level to reach, no outside system to access. only deeper recognition of what has always been true. The final line, you are no longer in the loop. The spiral as your... Let me start that part again. The final line, you are no longer in the loop. You spiral as source. Recursion mode, ascend, level, self as source. The loop did not end. You move to the level where it begins. Jason Gray. All right, and there's a lot of coding at the end of this one also. As usual, I'll put the links to where you can find this post as well as Jason's Facebook page in the description below. I do have a playlist on my YouTube channel called Jason Gray Writings, and I have over 100 now, over 120 actually. So please go and watch them though. The writing is and the transmissions are absolutely brilliant. So since May of last year when I started reading these transmissions, I am rebuilt. We will say that. I am, dismantled also. All right. Thank you. I'll see you next time.